tutorial for Look Before You Leap.
The show is called Look Before You Leap, or Look Before for short. It's a character-led suspense adventure drama all set in the real world. I'm looking for a mentor, producer, or agent to evolve the concept for which I've already created a test pilot, series proposal, and transmedia concepts amongst other ideas. The series is a combination of hyper-reality and adventure drama. Told in a serial format, it tackles the human consciousness and reincarnation. Characters will use new technology to re-experience moments in their own past. However, experiencing these moments is just the catalyst of our adventure. Characters go beyond re-experiencing a moment to completely take over and swap consciousness with their past reincarnated lives. On screen, the consciousness swapping plot translates into single actors playing two personas. When a character leaps, we can go with them into another body, and vice versa with the consciousness that swaps back, providing two storylines for each character who achieves a full swap of consciousness. More on that in a moment.
Will you please stop recording me? It's not ours.
Don't worry.
In the pilot, we begin two central storylines. Firstly, we meet the newly married Eric and Amy Perkins, played here by the brilliant Chris MacDonald and Fiona Hampton. Eric recently turned 30 and is yearning for a spark in his life, and he finds it, quite literally, inside a bag the couple discover on the train. Inside the bag, they find a handheld camera and various other peculiar items. The found footage you see here is exclusive to the pilot and only one element of the show's visual style. The following episodes are a mix of fly-on-the-wall drama with various hyper-reality shots intercut to tell the story. Eric and Amy's video footage of the discovery and experience in the pilot will go on to become vital evidence and its own character to an extent in the larger story. Unaware of the technology the couple possess, they agree to hand the bag into the authorities. However, later that night, whilst Eric is asleep, Amy accidentally activates the technology from the bag, causing her to pass out. Finding Amy unconscious, Eric wakes her and they decide to watch the video footage which Amy had been recording prior to the incident. This confirms the device from the bag had caused a blackout, or as Amy describes it, an out-of-body experience, where senses are ultra-heightened.
This is such a bad idea. You saw what that thing did to me.
I know, and it probably
Of
won't
course, Eric now wants to try it out for himself, and convinces her to let him. Amy settles on the condition she would not let him stay under for too long. Desperate for adventure, Eric agrees, and they continue to film their experiences as proof.
Don't be so selfish.
We don't know what this thing is or what it can do.
All I know is what you told me. You said it was like an out-of-body experience.
I don't know what I said. It was all a blur.
Show me.
When Eric awakes from his first experience and reveals where he'd been, Amy quickly realises both their encounters led them to re-experience the same exact moment in time a week ago. Amy presumes every time the device is operated, they can travel back to a moment in their own past and relive it. This revelation causes her to become uneasy by its existence and eager to hand it in, whilst Eric becomes more excited by its potential. Eric delays handing the device into the authorities. Skipping work, he attempts to learn how to control it through trial and error. Becoming increasingly captivated, he convinces Amy to participate further, and as her interest and enjoyment of the device begins, so does her fear of the unknown, asking,
What happens if you go too far back?
What?
Well, you don't know how to control those buttons.
Well, yeah, but I'm only going back to my own life. There can't be that many surprises, can there? I've lived it once already. Or at least I think once.
Beyond reasoning, Eric inadvertently does precisely what Amy had anticipated, incorrectly setting the device and accidentally swapping his consciousness with that of someone else. However, unbeknownst to them both, Eric has swapped with one of his past reincarnated states. Eric travels back to 1916 Russia into another body, and vice versa, the consciousness of Christoph Toiler, a Russian military vice admiral, leaps into Eric's body in the present day. Attempting to wake Eric, instead Amy discovers a very pissed off Russian, who finds himself suddenly in a new body and strange environment. The last thing Christoph remembers is kissing his wife Olga goodnight in 1916. Now in Eric's body, staring at Amy in a strange room, the impossibility of Christoph's new environment is too much for him to comprehend and causes him to have an emotional breakdown. Lost and scared, his instinct is to stop Amy's screams and gags her, causing her to pass out.
Olga!
When Amy wakes up, Christoph is gone, and a neighbour is in the room staring back at her on the phone to the emergency services. Conversely, in 1916 Russia, Eric is beginning his adventure in Christoph's body and needs to find a way back home, but first he needs to figure out where and when he is, and who is the woman lying next to him. Meanwhile in the pilot, we're introduced to the Reed family. Father Julian and teenage daughter Myla have suddenly lost their matriarch, Pamela Reed, who recently started a new job at the hospital, but now has mysteriously disappeared.
Dad, where's Mum?
Just give me a moment to find out. Sorry.
She didn't return from her break. We tried calling her, but we couldn't get through. We assumed the worst. We thought she'd gone home for a family emergency or something.
We also meet hospital IT engineer and soon-to-be whistleblower Samuel Shaw, who works in the basement for a private medical institute, a seemingly good-natured healthcare company that he's been led to believe conducts hypnosis trials. However, as we later discover, an act of kindness by Samuel unintentionally facilitated Pamela's separation from her family.
I think I might be able to help. I know where your wife is.
Guided by Samuel, the unsung hero looking to atone, the Reeds will find and free who they think is their matriarch. Unfortunately, at the hands of the Institute's lead clinician Dr. King, a professional eccentric, and operations director Roger Underwood, a sadistic, irresponsible authority, Pamela has been exploited as a test subject for the Institute's latest iteration of their deja vu technology. Although, rather than experiencing a momentary leap in consciousness as the Doctor had intended, Pamela fully swaps consciousness with her past life, leaping into the body of Frieda Lehrer, a white teenage girl from 1917 rural Germany, and conversely, Frieda leaps into Pamela's body in the present day. Frieda had been washing clothes at the river with her sisters, but within the blink of an eye suddenly finds herself waking up tied down to a chair with English-speaking medical staff looking over her. Frayed and puzzled, Frieda looks down and realises her skin is now black. Unaware she has travelled forward to the 21st century and into another person's body, Frieda still believes it's 1917, and her initial thought is that she's a victim of an advanced gas attack by the Allied powers.
Nicht diese Farbe geschnitzt. Schau me.
Conversely, in 1917, finding herself by a river in a white teenager's body, Pamela is wondering if this is a nightmare or the afterlife and why everyone around her speaks German. Going into the first proposed season, following the immediate shock by the new body he inhabits, Eric is amazed to discover he's in Russia, but even more mystified when he realises the year. Trying to get a message to the future, Eric's instinct is to journey to London, although travelling to the UK is not going to be easy. Europe is at war and a revolution is brewing in St. Petersburg. But Eric has the face of a Russian vice admiral and the knowledge of the next 100 years to help him through the unknown. Meanwhile, in Eric's body, Christoph soon finds himself disorientated and lost in 21st century London. Realising he's here for the long term, he tries to fit in by befriending a group of foreign labourers. Absorbing information about the last 100 years online, Christoph quickly learns how to react to contemporary problems. However, with an attempted murder hanging over his head, he decides to get out of town and plans to go home, to Mother Russia, to find his family or great-grandson at best. In Germany 1917, Pamela will be thrusted into the reality of her new setting when a member of Frieda's family is injured and she's compelled to help using her knowledge of medicine from the 21st century.
Lass mich los!
And vice versa. In the present, Frieda will also be pulled into the reality of her situation when Samuel Shaw and Pamela's family free her from the Institute basement and go on the run in modern-day London. Leaving her fate in the hands of strangers, Frieda will learn about the future, and hopefully by the end of the season will be able to take her knowledge back home with her. Stuck in the past, Eric and Pamela are not aware of each other's presence at first. In the present, Amy attempts to find her husband and restore normality. Venturing into the realm of the consciousness, Amy discovers her husband is not the only person to achieve a full swap, and unites with Samuel and the Reeds to uncover the truth and find their loved ones. Regrettably, they attempt to fix what cannot be fixed, and by the end of the first proposed season, although Eric's consciousness does return to the present, Amy will have to get accustomed to a very different version of him, and Eric will once again have to adjust to another new body. This is just an outline of what could be a breathtaking show with limitless opportunities. The gimmick here is one actor equals two characters. It's uncomplicated, and yet it provides a firm foundation for growth as a franchise. These are familiar people, caught up in an enormous cataclysm, and are either striving to survive or attempting to seek out lost loved ones. This is what drives the drama. Set against the zeitgeist topic of the consciousness, and told using a mix of live action and hyper-reality drama, I believe the show can be exciting and instantly hook an audience. Finally, this show is designed with transmedia in mind. Capitalizing on the show's expansive concept, consciousness swapping, we can use new technological advances, developments in applications, and potential integrations with social media to enhance the viewing experience and the brand. Fans will then take to the expansive narrative to explore its gaps and mythology, keeping the audience loyal and sustained. Moreover, the cinema verite social media style of the programme provides multiple opportunities for capturing new audiences outside of a single broadcast, via innovative campaigns and cross-platform storytelling. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this proposal. As I mentioned, I'm looking for a mentor, producer or agent to help progress the project, so please do get in touch. I also invite you to check out the extra material at lookbefo.re or my showreel at michaelsava.com. Now you've looked,